This is going to be a listening space. Everybody, I'm here, you're there. It's just going to be a little bit new to me, so I want to have it make it a sharing experience where I'm going to listen to basically music. we're going to talk about it, we're going to analyze it, we're going to talk about the context, the history. We're going to try to do a kind of well-rounded appreciation type YouTube channel, content-wise, that I saw a lack of it out there. I see a lot of people are interested in music, from any age. So I want to take a little deeper look. It's going to be a mixture of me sort of sharing some of the stuff that I'm trying to put out into the audience, but it's also going to be something that I want feedback. I want other stuff. There's always stuff that I haven't explored yet, and stuff that I'm looking to be inspired by. And I'm coming from a sort of musician standpoint. You can see my takeaways, sort of where I come from, what I've been interested in, things like that in the description. So I won't go into it too much here. But if you have questions, by all means, I'll try to be very engaged with everybody. And that being said, we'll go through it as we start. But like I said, this is the beginning. And for a beginning, I really wanted to delve in. I'm going to delve into more of a mixture of stuff that I know, but there's going to be some stuff that I'm unfamiliar with. So I want there to be some amount of surprise to this channel, as well as just, not going to be just curated jukebox. But I'm going to try to be engaging with the audience. I want there to be I'm going to put polls up basically after this first few videos to find out where everybody's head's at, what they want to explore, get into, what they want to talk about. But yeah, I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of engagement and community around this. So for this first one, I wanted to get into something that's sort of very, it's very something where people can really relate to from any age. So, but it's not going to be I'm not going to do greatest hits, collections and things like that. So, but I'm going to get into some Pink Floyd, but I'm going to get into probably one of their, I would say, least known efforts, at least in their early, to mid period, and that is some of their soundtrack stuff. So I'm going to get into Zabriskie Point soundtrack, and there was 2 official tracks on the soundtrack, but there's also, I think, 3 or 4 that were on the sessions. So I'm not sure how finalized they were, how produced they were, but there's going to be some stuff I haven't heard. So anyway, let's get into it. I may stop somewhere in the song and just give a little bit of commentary, just for the YouTube and all that. But yeah, most of it is going to be, I want to be listening. I want to bring it to some people. I want people to, give me some information on it, if by all means they can, because information is hard to come by nowadays. They used to have magazines, they used to have all that. I'm going to read some, interviews and things like that. Portions of interviews, snippets and stuff like that, to sort of give it a little bit more context, and what the musicians were thinking, what they were at the time. So anyway, we're going to start off with the first track. Let's see what that is. This one was on the soundtrack. So these 2 I have heard before. This one's called Crumbling Land. I think this was a David Gilmour piece. I think they mixed up on this soundtrack, Roger Waters and David Gilmour. So there's a mix, and I think Roger Wright also had 1 track on here, an instrumental. But let's get into Crumbling Land. All right.
Soaring, flying. and eyes, and 50 more come rolling off the Ford production line.
Okay, before they get right back into the main groove, yeah, I just want to say I've heard this song before. I love this guitar part, and basically the guitar and the cymbals. I've learned this guitar part. It's just 2 chords. It's like a A major down to a G major, with some finger style playing, and then the cymbals it's very swingy. But like everyone, obviously with Pink Floyd, we know like they're very visual, with a lot of their material, and they liked it. Around this point, they really liked doing soundtracks. They'd done, I think, at least one other soundtrack at this point. I know they had discussed they like doing it because it's it fits their sort of their vibe, sort of what they their musical, what they like doing, and then creating sort of these visual compatible pieces. Anyway, yeah, the guitar, the cymbal, the vocals. Yeah, I like the melody. I thought I was going to look at the lyrics. So maybe look at the lyrics because honestly, I was not a very lyrical minded person when I first started. The first 5-10 years of listening to music, I didn't really focus on lyrics that much. I had to like the tone and the vocalist and everything like that, and the melody and their talent, but I wasn't too looking at the lyrics and the poetics and stuff like that. So sometimes it's easy for me to just bypass the lyrics, but with some artists it's easier. With some artists, they deserve a closer look, for sure. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to throw up a little picture from the CD that I got this from. They have some of the pictures at the time, but let's get back into it. I'm going to rewind it another
Crumbling land, screaming, healing, moving land. Here we go, hold your nose and see if something grows. Close your eyes, count to 10 and see the sunrise rise. Climbing high into the sky. Why we all meant to make love on the finger of the king. On high the eagle spies the glitter of the gun, and wheeling in a climbing till he flies into the sun.
So, yeah, some cool little audio, yeah, not the or auto sounds, and they were kind of panning back and forth. The song itself, yeah, it's cool because it wasn't stereo. It almost sounded like it was multiple guitars because it was so full sounding. Just that one guitar, just filled the space. Just the guitar and the cymbals, it was like, filled up the whole space. I guess there was there some Yeah, maybe there was some slide. I thought I heard some of those little. Yeah, I have to listen back to it again, but I think there was some little slide parts maybe with the guitar also creating these effects. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna run through the lyrics real quick, just because I've never really looked at them before. They look like they're, it's gonna be hard to give a definitive idea, but in a while I'll find the time to make the sunshine mine. In a smile I saw a single eagle in the sky. Wheeling, soaring, gliding high, on a hill there lived a man with many shining things. Shiny gold, shiny car, and shiny diamond rings. Whining, dining, shining king. Now the eagle flies in clear blue skies, drinking in the clear blue well. Back here on the ground, another dealer coughs and dies. I don't know. Yeah, dealer coughs and dies. But 50 more come rolling off the floor, production line. Then a man commuting like a village on the sand, in his hand a moving picture of the crumbling land. Screaming, dealing, movie man. Here we go. Hold your breath to see if something blows. Close your eyes, count till 10, and see the sunrise rise. Gliding high into the sky. By the holy mansion let the guardian rise. Upon the finger of the king. On high the eagle flies, that glitter all of gold. When wheeling in a cloudy sky, he flies into the sun. Oh, this has songwriters, yeah, all four of them. Yeah. Oh, I like that. It's definitely, they use a lot of the same imagery. Obviously, you have the eagles and the shining thing. It's probably, it's somewhat a criticism of the world, for sure. Shiny things, the materialism. But yeah, definitely you got a lot of sky motifs, eagle. But I'll have to dig that into a little more, but interesting to see that, hear that. Anyway, that's that one, like I said, heard that song, love it. I've wavered back and forth, the partial between, Pink Floyd, you can't like one or the other, but, their acoustic, their lighter stuff versus their harder stuff, later periods, obviously. But I do definitely have a space for their lighter stuff this period. Uma Guma and obviously post Sid Barrett, when they weren't doing much like lighter acoustic stuff during Sid Barrett, a little bit. Anyway, let's jump. The next one. So the next one, the sound is on the soundtrack. I might jump back and hit that one later. But yeah, let me see. Coming number 5 was also on the soundtrack. That's one of their harder ones, and it's a predecessor to their metal song, which was what Careful with That Ex Eugene. So this was an earlier incarnation called Coming Number 51. Your time is up, and it's not as production wise, not as focused as Careful with That Ex Eugene, but the the vocal part is I'm going to cut you up in little pieces. This one's got probably the gnarliest scream I've ever heard anybody do, and specifically, definitely in Pink Floyd era. So let's listen to that. We'll go right to that, and we'll do their other session pieces after. So coming number 1. Coming number 51, your time is up. Yeah, you can anticipate the danger, the melee that's about to happen. Let's jump into another one good sit in the dark. Scare the heck out of yourself song. Let's listen. It's got the Friday the 13th. Here it comes. a constant progression. It's just, even though you're anticipating something, it slowed it down. It stepped back a little bit, which is brave in music. There's the soundtrack, so they're maybe following the scene. Hopefully I don't blow my speakers on this one. Again, Nick Mason. Okay. Sorry, I gotta pause it in there. It was just starting to go into a little bit of different groove there, with the bass going into maybe double time, or even like a steady 4/4. So God, that is so hard. I thought it was like one scream, but it went on for a good 30 seconds, 45 seconds. But that is, yeah, without a doubt, if you want to hear Pink Floyd just unleashed, even more than their echoes, metal, Careful with That Axe live. That stuff is great. It's got great momentum. It's got great build up. But this one, yeah, just the vocal line, the screaming is crazy. So yeah, I have to appreciate it just for that. If you want to just freak people out, like, hey, have you heard that one? All right. Yeah, there was so much going on. I was listening for keyboard, anything, so I'm not sure if he was in there. I couldn't hear any Richard Wright stuff. I heard guitars on this side. I heard another guitar on that side, overdubs, and obviously the vocal parts. I don't know I assume that was Roger Waters. It sounded like Roger Waters. Gilmore doesn't scream that much as far as I know. But yeah, the drums coming in the beginning, Nick Mason, love the sound of his drums. They sound so natural and just so, bombastic. But they're, the intro, they're and then just, So I just wanted to say that. Let's finish this off. I don't know how much. Yeah, there's only like another minute left, but it's just powerful. I don't know where it would fit in with a movie. It seems a little bit would take the center stage on that, but let's hit it. the background. I heard that. So there was, right at the end, you heard everything go out, and you did hear organ or something going on there. So it was very much in the background, just like a foundational drone, maybe. But it was there, just filling up the space. Yeah, to me, I don't know. Obviously have more experience playing guitars and things, but you have to appreciate other instruments. Obviously, I would, if on that one, I just feel like, I wouldn't. The guitar is like filling the space, but the bass, sometimes the basses would be the most fun to play on that, just because it's driving the underlying tone and feel of the whole piece, and just keeps everything moving. And just by cutting time or adding a note here and there, you affect it so much more than, with the guitar dropped out for 5 seconds or didn't. It's like, you wouldn't miss it. Anyway, that one, love. So the main 2 tracks of Zabriskie Point are a really cool counterpoint. One of them is just super hard. The other one's like this sort of pastoral, nice acoustic guitar with nice little, bridge. And the lyrics, obviously, if people picked up on them, worthwhile to listen to. Let's jump on to, so these are the sessions. These go by different names, depending on which CD or you get it off of. But they had ones called basically Love Scene. But I'm gonna listen to the Love Scene, and these are more acoustic. These are all more acoustic. They have drums too, but let's listen to this one. It's a nice piano, Richard Wright. I have not heard this one. Okay. Yeah, this is awesome to listen to. yeah, it's just, it is what it is. It's one piece. It's very lyrical. The chord changes. He kind of, it's got some home bass in the beginning. It's like a kind of 2-chord vamp, but he also goes to a couple different places. It doesn't sound like it's like super regimented, with chorus and bridge and things like that. Obviously I'd have to listen to it and sort of see if I could break it down. But at this point, that's not, I think it's really necessary. It's just a really nice piece to put you in a space. So it's a good counterpoint to the album. So let's finish this off. Okay, yeah, that seems very improvised. I feel like it doesn't seem like something he would have, laid out or written down, or maybe at best he had a few like focus points or bullet points of where he wanted to take it to. Because it's a relatively longer instrumental piece. It's 6, almost 7 minutes. So it feels like, yeah, that was it, a lot improvised. Because it sounds like, somebody who's, obviously well versed in their instrument. They're just sort of noodling around, and they sort of find a home base, and then that they can come back to, and then find a couple other places that they can go to, and then just sort of let things fall in as they go. But yeah, really cool. Obviously not something like Pink Floyd typical fans are used to by any means. There hasn't been a lot of I don't think there was any instrumental Richard Wright pieces, laid into any of their stuff. So yeah, in that case, it's something pretty rare. Okay, here we go. Let's go to the next song. So that was Love Scene, various interlude. So it's cool. We're gonna go back and listen to something that's a little bit more relatable to Pink Floyd stuff. So this is called Rain in the Country, and here we go. Another slide, acoustic slide, David Gilmour, and electric, sort of really reverby slide. And lines, at least 4 guitars, probably 3 or 4. I've heard snippets of this. Okay, I forgot to pause it in there. It's so just sends you along down the river. God, that's so. The song was great. The guitars, you had all these little melodic things going on, overdub, overlapping each other in different panning and then depth behind you and in front of you all around. And yeah, just to see, I can see why, during this period, I don't think Pink Floyd was the first. I don't know, maybe the Who was, but the idea of quadraphonic sound and things like that, they were interested in that because they were obviously the people in those circles were getting really interested with sound and the possibilities, and just enhancing it, hearing it, everything. Obviously, to hear it in quadraphonic, you have to have the right equipment and thing to actually take advantage of those technologies and choices. But you can hear, you can hear depth. You can hear the, I don't remember the clinical term for technological, but you can hear obviously the panning. You can hear stuff that's close to you and how far it is away from you, and somewhat. So, yeah. But when the drum and bass came in, what an awesome choice! Just out of the blue, you're just like, oh, I didn't know I needed that, But I love this song so far. This could be anywhere on their earlier albums, metal probably specifically. And there's stuff on metal which I can kind of give or take. I don't think it was, maybe their best choice, but stuff like this, I would have definitely. This would have been. I don't know. The feel's great. It's just a nice drum beat. It's got a good feel. The bass is sort of leading with this. It sounds like a walking song. It's a good just like walking out if you're in the, out in the woods and just on a path. It just sort of keeps that has that momentum. It's that Pink Floyd momentum that beats BPMs. It's just keeps you that sort of strolling. But yeah, this song to me should be on one of their albums. And they obviously, Pink Floyd recycled a lot of their ideas. There's a lot of earlier versions of things, snippets that they incorporated into later pieces, and obviously their songs have just a feel. Their feels are like all over the place in different periods at a time. So, but in a respectable way, responsible way, not as just like, oh, we're going to refurbish this and put it and replicate it on another album. But anyway, let's get back to it. Yeah, I love this piece. This is probably, I like the other songs, but this just fits into the groove. I don't know. I'm gonna rewind it a little bit. Okay. Okay, it went on for a little while, and obviously there's probably, if they were going to produce it a little bit better, than maybe because it's not like, yeah, they're at some point they made a great detour, and they went here and they went there, and then they sort of stuck with that motif sort of towards the end, and it's cool because, I mean, there's a lot of noodling. David Gilmour is just kind of noodling. I don't think he had any, it wasn't as fine tuned as some of the other material, but with everything going on, there's nothing I wasn't taken out of it. It wasn't anything you needed, even the noodling. This is a song that it's dangerous to listen to if you're on a road trip or you're driving somewhere, because I feel like 5 minutes would pass and you wouldn't see anything going on around you. All of a sudden you'd find yourself 5 miles down the road, and you've gotten off an exit and you went down a dead-end road and you ended up in a cul-de-sac, and you're just like, okay, song's over, and you wake up and you're like, where am I? It's such a, yeah, it's great. I love the textures, the guitars. And I think I love Ozzy about the acoustic side. It's just they're so clean. Even the electric guitar in this was so clean. The acoustics were so clean and natural. Everything's so crisp. It's yeah, that's what I love. I love some of the most about, listen to this stuff, period, is what, definitely a part of my sensibility for playing an instrument. And especially acoustic guitars, it's very hard to get them to sound like you want them to sound when you're recording. And obviously, listen to, there's all kinds of acoustic guitar sounds you hear recording, like, oh, this one sounds thin, this one sounds so bassy, and but this is my favorite. This is my favorite acoustic sound, just because it sounds like there's nothing really added in. It sounds like it sounds when you're just playing it. You're on the couch, you're outside, in the backyard, just playing it. It sounds like that. But it sounds like, and you get to listen to it. Other times you're playing guitar, you never really get to hear it. You don't get to be on the other side, listening to it and hear the music coming out of the sound hole and the full depth of it. Sometimes it sounds a little muted, or you're missing some of the frequencies when you're listening to it. Anyway, I love that sound. I love his tone. Whatever they did to record it sounds great. I don't know what kind of guitar he played. I'll have to look that up. I imagine he played, either Martins or Gibsons, I assume. At that time, yeah, I think everybody played those. If they had the money. Anyway, they didn't play a Sears. He didn't play a Sears Roebuck guitar at that point. So anyway, that one. Yeah, at least for the sessions stuff unreleased, that should have been somewhere. Anyway, yeah, a couple more songs. I know I'm going through this. This is a longer video. I want to go through this complete. I don't want to do one song here, Pink Floyd, one song there. I want to get a concept of, like, the context of what they were, the space they were in. And I think this was recorded over 2 weeks, only at night, I believe. I'll go into it later afterwards, do a brief summary. But Red Queen.
He made his way to the border in the shadow under the trees, down by a stream in a hollow. Turn your head, feel the breeze, and the Red Queen was waiting for the news, for the White King to move, and the balance hung upon the head of one who tried to stay within the shadows and keep his undercover secret tight.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it real quick, just because we got the intro. Finally, we got Richard Wright piano, playing the sort of chord progression. Yeah, it's a simple chord progression, but yeah, it's into their sort of country pastoral textures. So I love it. And David Gilmour, I'll be honest, and I could not always identify who was singing these songs, whether it's Roger Waters or David Gilmour. Sometimes I don't know. I just never thought to, see who it was or what the difference was. But yeah, David Gilmour obviously has like there's a very sweet tone, and he's probably doubled up on here, so it almost sounds even more just soothing and sweet, like so soothing. And with the piano, I love the beginning. When the guitar comes in, it's a little jarring, and I'm being obviously overly critical to this somehow, and this is just my, my instant feeling, or sort of, maybe I had a different feeling when I first heard it, and maybe it's different, over time. But yeah, the guitar, it sounds like something off of their other, like more, so I don't know, it seems like but yeah, I like it. But yeah, the electric guitar took me out of that soothing a little bit. So I'm like 90% sort of down with it, but I wouldn't have been disappointed if they had it a little bit more subdued. Anyway, let's continue that.
They let him in by a back way into a chamber reserved for the queen.
There's a guitar back there somewhere.
She took the note that he gave her, opened it slowly, and started to read. Run to the treasury and bring me back some gold. Give it to the pawn who came, she cried. She says the white king thinks the game of chess is wrong, and all the courtiers crowded round, and this is what she told the gathering throng. Go to the store by the dungeon, take all the red paint, take all the white. Make up a new born color, cover your neighbor, and we'll be alright. There will be no game today, she cried across the board. Every day will be a holiday.
Okay. Oh man. Yeah, at the end, I liked where the piano was starting to go. It's kind of to get like even more a little, what do you call it? Not herky jerky, but a little bit more country blues. And that guitar, I do like it. It seemed a little on top of the mix. It was kind of like a little bit. I wish it was pushed back just a little bit, or maybe put on one side or somewhere, because it just seemed it was you couldn't not take it into account. It seemed like it was over covering everything else that was the vocals, the keyboard, the drums. So yeah. All right, so that was the Red Queen theme. Again, I talked about it. I really liked the addition of the piano. There was some guitar in the background, just kind of lightly strumming. It wasn't kind of hard to hear, but it just sort of laying the background foundation. So I love it. Yeah, the electric guitar was a little over the top for me to listen to that, to make that put that on my steady sort of light Pink Floyd listening, as much as say a Rain in the Country, Crumbling Land type of piece. So anyway, this is a longer video. Obviously, this is we're doing the whole album with alternate session tracks. So last one, and this one's going to be more instrumental, more off the beaten track of Pink Floyd. I haven't listened to it. I had listened to a snippet of it, and as far what I can tell, I think it's just another Richard Wright piece. But we're kind of completists here. Let's do the whole thing. So this will be the last piece. We got Sleep. Okay. Okay, I really hate to pause this because there's really no good place to do it. It's sort of this just stream of consciousness piece interlude. But anyway, quickly, just to give a, I think it was one instrument in the beginning. I'm not sure. Yeah, so I didn't notice it, but I thought it was one instrument in the beginning, and then I realized at some point that there was two, one more prominent in this ear, and then one that was more center left or center right, depending on how you're looking at this. And then there was, like 30 seconds ago, I could have swore there was like a little ocean sound. It was really subtle, but I thought I heard that, so I'm not 100%. I'd have to listen to it again, but I'm not going to do it right now. But yeah, obviously this piece is meant to be super. This is like, if I could put this on a loop, when you're trying to just relax, or you're trying to like, take a cat nap or something like that. Sounds so nice. I don't know what, the keyboard, it almost sounds like electric piano, but obviously it's got like a really rounded sound. It's not really sharp. It's super, I'm not sure what keyboard he used for this. Could have been, I don't know, what's the other, I'm trying to think of that other keyboard popular one in the 70s, but this was 69, so I'm not 100% what this was. But it sounds like an electric piano, but it's got a very rounded, smooth sound. But anyway, let's finish this off. Another little bit. It goes really fast. All right. Yeah, so that was called Sleep. Again, probably another like improvisation. Had a couple keyboards, same tone, same everything. Sounded pretty close. Again, I don't know the instrument. Maybe it was run through like had a slight, not tremolo, but the maybe vibrato setting. Anyway, now that piece, obviously, the two Richard Wright pieces, nothing. Definitely for a soundtrack, right? So it wouldn't be on their regular studio piece, their studio albums like Metal or maybe Umaguma could have any of that stuff because they are obviously wide open in what they had on that album. Anything goes. Anyway, that's Zabriskie Point. And there's a couple other pieces. Obviously there's a bunch of outtakes. There's different edits of some of those same songs. But I took listened to the main ones that had the most sort of finished, theme, had the most sort of well thought out idea of what the song was going to be. But yeah, if you haven't listened to this before, haven't heard all the songs, all the outtakes, I would definitely recommend listening to it, especially for, there's only so much Pink Floyd, so if you like Pink Floyd, you're going to like some of these extra pieces, because and it's their earlier period. It's when they were interested in doing soundtracks. So yeah, it's looked like So Richard Wright, Rick Wright, Richard Wright? Yeah, Richard. He did have something to say about this album. So he's the one that said, so he said, we each had a piece of music and we did about, say, 6 takes of each. So yeah, obviously he had a couple different pieces on that. He had the sleep, and then he had love scene, keyboard, and then I believe it was the piano. Yeah. Antonio, I forget his name. He said he was not hard to work with, but he was a perfectionist. He was with us in the studio every night for 2 weeks, from 9 in the evening until 8 in the morning. So every night for 2 weeks, just to get about 20 minutes of music. And obviously there was the outtakes we listened to. So I'd say 20 minutes of music. Maybe that's all the outtakes, I'm not sure. But it was hard, but it was worth it. It's hard to say what I thought of our music in More, the previous soundtrack. Or actually, I think it was early in that year. So yeah. Anyway, I'll finish this. Since I didn't see it with the film, so Richard Wright did not see the music in the film, so it was hard to gauge, that quality of it. But it said apparently it works quite well. As an album, I don't really much like it. That was More. So February 1969, they came out with More, which was the soundtrack. And I haven't seen either of these movies, so I don't, how they incorporated it into the film. I don't know how well it works. Or it doesn't work. But it's hard to say with Pink Floyd because obviously I couldn't watch it now, and not know Pink Floyd, not know the music, not feel like it's going to take away from the movie to some degree. So it wouldn't be much. It'd be hard to see it working very well and feel like it was a perfect mesh of video and music, but. More was, I said Roger Waters wrote all of More, but gave Gilmour the vocal duties on that whole album. That was February 1969. June 1969, they came out with Umaguma, and there they had mixed writing credits. Roger Waters sang portions. He sang Grantchester Meadows. Gilmour sang The Narrow Way. Again, these I've listened to a long time ago, whenever I first was introduced and was going through their discography and things like that, but I know I liked Grantchester Meadows because it has a similar to this. It has the very light, almost like kind of pastoral, and I think I've learned to play Grantchester Meadows. I really like the melody. I like the guitar part on that, what Gilmour does. I think it's classical guitar maybe, or nylon string. Anyway, that was Umaguma, June 1969. In December 1969, they did this, Zabriskie Point. Again, they did it in 2 weeks, working only nights. So makes me wonder, what did they do during the day? And if they just slept half the day and prepared for the evening. But yeah, it sounds like it was a very, just to get 20 minutes. So it sounds like they were able to just sort of improvise and come up with things on the fly, come up with these general moods. They wanted, a more love scene. They wanted something a sort of pastoral. So they went through different feelings, different textures, from super hard, like coming to number 51, to a lot of their lighter stuff, which they definitely had, and then the very light, singular instrument Richard Wright pieces, which was very laid back. So yeah, altogether it's a cool mix. Again, so this is my first intro into doing some of this music. I'm definitely like a Pink Floyd. I'm not going to go into a ton of Pink Floyd stuff on this channel because, I've listened to a lot of it. If there's some, whether it's bootleg stuff or live stuff, or I haven't listened to a lot of anything past The Wall. I haven't listened to solo Gilmour, solo Roger Waters that much, or, anything after The Wall. I've listened to a little bit of it, but it just doesn't hit the same for me. So I mean, I would listen to it, but I'm gonna be pretty upfront and constructively critical, You know, I mean, it's subjective, so there'll be some objective criticism, but some of it's going to be subjective. Anyway, I really appreciate if you get something out of this. I mean, I know this album, I'm sure everybody has not heard this album, even people who really like Pink Floyd. I'm sure this has slipped under the radar a little bit. So that's why I wanted to do this album, because that's what I want to do. I want to kind of uncover some of the hidden gems, you know, of music, and not even just rock. I'm going to do a lot of different genres. There's something I like about a lot of genres, and I want to get into, you know, find the audience that's willing to open themselves up to some different genres and the talents, you know, musicians in that field. So I'm going to put up some polls, because for some upcoming episodes, I want to, obviously these first few, I'm just going to kind of go into stuff that I feel comfortable with, stuff that I've had some interaction with, but I'm going to try to find some that I haven't heard also, to sort of keep that essence, you know, with the channel. Again, this is going to be the end of this one. I really appreciate it if you get some of this. I'm going to put up some polls to try to get a gauge of where everybody's at, and try to get, you know, more content, more ideas of what people want to, you know, what people want to share with, what people want to uncover, what people are really interested in sharing themselves. So that's, and again, look at my description on the channel. I'm going to put sort of a little bit of my bio there, and my wants and wish list for the channel, what I want it to be, what I hope it to be, and I look forward to starting this journey with everybody. Okay, we'll see you on the next one. Take care.